Welcome everybody, Souldin of the Grin brothers here, and it's time for another episode of Tea Time. It's been a while since I've done a regular Tea Time on my own, not of a news-related subject. I mean, a lot of them have just basically been update information or this thing happened, here's my opinion on it. Well, okay, this thing happened recently in gaming news. I mean, this thing, the subject I'm going to eventually talk about is still, this thing happened, here's my opinion on it. But it's not news related per se. You know what, let's just introduce my tea. Today's tea for tea time is, well, it's just a black English breakfast basically. I believe it's a PG Tips one. And there's a good reason I'm having a black English breakfast, because while it's not among my least favourite of teas, I mean, anything with cameline, I think, or chamomile, I'm not sure, that has that honour. Yeah, that totally has that honour. And I'm not a fan of certain brands of afternoon tea. Certain afternoon teas taste well, or good and all, but others don't. It's surprising how much they vary. But in any case, I'm not a big fan of black tea. It's sort of on its own of English breakfast. I mean, there's certain teas that I think I can have well as sort of black. I mean, orange pekoe is okay if I remember correctly. Lapsang souchong as well. Though of course, I naturally prefer my teas with milk, even green tea. So, in any case, today's topic is something I've been doing recently. Now, if you remember from, well, if any of you happen to have watched Sonic Adventure Big's campaign, I'm not quite sure on which part it is. It's the third part of Big's campaign, but that could be anything like part 40 something. It was a long series. But during Big's campaign, I mentioned that I had received a game for my birthday. I'm not sure why I bothered to get up and get this, given that it makes no difference for you, because there's no video for this, as in, no, you're not seeing me get the thing. But anyway, I got Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge for my birthday. It's a game that I had wanted to get when it was launching. However, I thought it was going to be a release title. It wasn't, and then I kind of just missed out on the date. I ended up, around that time, I was like, should I get Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge or Rayman Legends? I ended up with Legacy Undercover because I didn't know this game had come out, and Rayman Legends got delayed, and eventually I just lost interest in it. Besides, I prefer Rayman 2 overall, and that's a 3D Rayman game. And Rayman Legends is a 2D Rayman game, just, In any case, I really enjoyed the Dead or Alive series. Dead or Alive Dimensions was pretty much the reason I got the 3DS initially. Dead or Alive 4 was my first game on Rafi's Xbox 360. He got it for Cameo. I got Dead or Alive 4 because I knew Rafi was getting a Xbox 360. And I thought, well, I've been enjoying a lot of Temco Koei games. And I wanted to try more of their series. I want to try the Altair series. Or I think that's made by Gust or something. But, Temco Koei is still in the brights. I'm going to be trying the Fail Frame or Project Zero series this year. Because I'm in the UK, I actually can get a physical copy, and I've got that already pre-ordered. And I have had lots of fun with some of the Warriors games. Hyrule Warriors is a lot of fun. I've played some of the other Warriors games a little bit, but never really got into them because I'm a bit far away from when they sort of started and what to understand from it all. And One Piece Pirate Warriors was okay, but I think Hyrule Warriors certainly did the genre more justice. In any case, I got Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge because I wanted to try out the series because I've been a fan of some other Temco Koei games. I've ended up chronicling some of my playthrough of it. Well, all my playthrough pretty much I've done so far, on Miiverse. If I ever figure out how to, I'll put an annotation or link here to my Miiverse posts on my playthrough of Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge so far. It is a playthrough, though, that I have decided to stop doing for the moment. And there's good reason for it. This brings up the key subject. The title of this episode, which will have already come up by this point long ago, because I already mentioned that I'm talking about Ninja Gaiden 3 here, will probably be something along the lines of fair and frustrating difficulty, or just frustration. Because this game makes me go, ah! This game is incredibly frustrating. It is hard. Ridiculously hard. Now, I'm not unfamiliar with hard games. I played Echo the Dolphin. That is stupidly hard. I've played Altered Beast. That's stupidly hard as well, but I can kind of understand it. I mean, it was an arcade beat 'em up, and to my knowledge, it isn't that long. And it's kind of fun in a way to see how far you can get with that game. I mean, it's not exactly the most in-depth of story, so... And because it's an arcade-style game, Altered Beast kind of feels like more of a, let's see how far you can go, rather than actually trying to achieve the end. I've played Wonderful 101. I really enjoy Wonderful 101. It's creative, it's difficult, yet I've always felt its difficulty is fair. Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge, not only does points of its difficulty not feel very fair, but it's also very dull trying to win at the same time, which is why I've decided to stop playing it for the moment. Basically, the game does offer an easier difficulty. It offers you two difficulties at the start, normal and hero. I have admittedly stuck with normal because it's the difficulty which is in the middle. Middly, it would probably make more sense to go down to hero. However, I feel honestly, if you're saying it's normal difficulty, it should be more normal difficulty. Honestly, I don't understand why they need to say... Because as far as I'm aware, I'm pretty sure there's more than just 3 difficulties in this game. And normal's supposed to be in the middle, so... Unless there's like an easier difficulty that's unlocked afterwards, or there's only 3 difficulties, it can't be normal unless it's in the middle. Hence why it's normal. It's the medium. The normal is ridiculous on this. I've yet to try the hero. Maybe it'll be easier, maybe I will try it, because I've gotten to a point where I just can't be bothered to progress. And I kind of feel Wonderful 101 did it better in terms of difficulty. I mean, they've got a lot of difficulties. They've got like 7 difficulties. But at the start of the game, they show 3 difficulties. Very easy, easy, and normal. Because there was only 3 difficulties available, easy, in turn, became the normal difficulty of what was there. The normal difficulty was hard, but at the same time, it's still easier to do than trying to take on the normal difficulty of Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge. Furthermore, it's more fun trying to take on the normal difficulty of Ninja Gaiden 3's Razor's Edge. There's a lot of moments, although I'd say more particularly with boss battles, wherein the key to victory is the most boring strategies possible. You'll usually only, to actually successfully defeat most of the bosses or particular sort of enemies, do one of 2 things. Run in, hit once, either with a standard attack, waiting to counter the specific moment you can, which is very hard to do because you have to use a standing button attack for it, rather than using a running attack button, and you're constantly wanting to move around in that game anyway, trying to actually adjust the camera angle, which, okay, I'll add on that. The camera angle is terrible in this game. I'd say this game is pretty much solid overall, except its camera angle. Feels like I'm playing a Sonic game that's a hack and slash. But in any case, so your 2 strategies are either run in, hit once, or run to the side of the screen, charge up your strong attack until it becomes some sort of like super move you can do, hoping the enemy doesn't hit you too much before then, and then hitting the opponent with that, and then rinse and repeating that in either case, with a little variation. And the key problems is, 1, this isn't very fun, and 2, it ends up dragging on forever because of how big the health bars are. I'd say this particularly becomes a problem with certain key enemies. There'd be a few of the bosses. There's a Day Freeze boss, is a particularly good example. Ayane Day 6 is the boss I'm stuck on at the moment because it's so boring trying to fight the thing and the camera angle isn't helping. And in regular enemies, there are chimeras. And the chimeras have ridiculous health and they seem to block a lot of things you do. That's another problem. In the most recent the Day 6 Ayane boss, I can't do the second charge tactic because the 3 bosses that you fight at the same time, all will block it. So that literally leaves the run-in attack strategy. I have tried before to do a steal on bone attack. Basically, they'll use this sort of charge up move. You can dodge it, and then you can like counter him. Hit him with a strong attack, and you'll do a sort of thing which does a lot of damage. Problem is, I can't pull that off because there's too many of the bosses, and whenever I try to pull that off, I can't see where they are because the camera angle is terrible on the game. It's difficult but it doesn't feel fair, and it doesn't feel fun trying to win. Another example, I'll use Dead or Alive as example. With Tekken, although I'm going to be very specific on the games. In Dead or Alive 4, you can actually fight in Dead or Alive 5 as well. You have an enemy called like Alpha 152 or something like that. She's a very annoying boss fight. She teleports and her grab does way too much damage. She also floats a bit, which makes some of the attacks a bit difficult. But she has her weaknesses. She's super light, so you can juggle her for a longer combo. And, after, I may lose a few times depending on what character I am. Maybe I'll accidentally get caught up in a grab I wasn't expecting, and, her grabs are ridiculous. But eventually I'll win. And the strategy is simply do various attacks, watch out for the grabs, counter if you can. I mean, quite a few of her attacks seem to repeat, so she's got a lot of, attacks which are the same move going over in a combo. So, there are ways to sort of beat her which are still fun, even if it's frustrating. Then compare it to Tekken 6, where I'll put up the name of the boss on screen because I can't remember it. Yep, you see it, good. I just refer to it as like Crystal Dragony boss from Tekken 6. That boss, the only way I found to beat it was to use low kick and spam that repeatedly. And do nothing but that. Because any other time I tried to vary it up, I'd never get hit, or it just wouldn't knock them properly. That's the problem. Difficult, sure, I can understand. But you shouldn't make the fight boring while it's difficult. If you're getting killed because you didn't see something coming, then oh well, you'll soon get to that point again. But if you're being killed because after a long time of just doing the same strategy, because the enemy's got a ridiculous health bar and your only strategy to take them down doesn't do much damage, then that just isn't fun. It just drags on forever and makes it boring. I've actually died, particularly against Day 3's boss, which I will admit isn't very hard. I died because of boredom in the game, because I couldn't be bothered to keep trying to dodge and everything all the time, and I just wanted to rush it because I was getting so bored of the fight. I think actually may have busted up my ZL, either that or it's button, because of how much I've been dodging and defending in that game. Which defending isn't really all that useful, given that everything seems to break your defense. Ninja Gaiden 3 I'm talking about here, not Tekken 6. Or Dead or Alive. Or Wonderful 101. But, yeah, it's just, the challenge isn't fun at the moment. I feel there's lots of good things about Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge. It's solidly made, and fighting enemies are pretty fun, with exception to the chimeras, which are just ridiculous. Though I will admit, when they start having only like one or two chimeras at a time and not throwing many of them at once or having them repeatedly one after the other, they can at least provide a little bit of entertainment, though the strategy is pretty boring all the same. But for all of it, and the characters are unique, despite it being a sort of like hack and slash game, the 4 characters you can use, they all feel very different when you use them. Reused weapons feel very different. There's good things about it. I mean, there's also plenty of bad things. The cutscenes are rushed. They zoom by. The story and a lot of the stuff is very unfamiliar for people who haven't played the other Ninja Gaiden games. For its first entry, or sort of its big return on Wii U, there isn't really anything to get people accustomed to the game. I mean, if you've been a Nintendo-only owner, you haven't played any of the recent Ninja Gaiden games. None of the sort of newer ones which Itagaki ended up making. So, there's nothing to really get one used to that sort of thing. And the camera angle sucks. It's terrible. But ultimately, as solid as some of the elements is, the game just doesn't become fun when the way to win is such a repetitive, boring manner, yet you're so often going to die because of just how difficult it is and have to repeat that same boring manner to victory. Not sure I had a specific point here, other than I just wanted to relieve my frustration of how much I'm, getting annoyed with this game. Gonna try my tea. Oh gosh, I let that sit for too long. I mean brew for too long. Yep. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Cheerio!